Hey guys, and welcome to the Season 5 Kalista guide. In this guide, I'll be teaching you everything you need to know about Kalista, from runes and masteries to tips and tricks for the laning phase and teamfighting phase. I hope you enjoy the video. This guide consists of several sections of which you are free to skip to. On the top section of the screen, you can see clickable buttons that guide you through this video. If you wish to skip any of the parts, for instance abilities, just click on the button to go to the next part that you are interested in. Now, without further ado, let's get started with the guide, beginning with Champion Select. Kalista's runes, masteries and summoner spells are just like any other AD carry. For masteries, you go for 2190 to give you the best combat stats for the laning phase and the teamfighting phase. For runes, you go for the standard AD carry rune page, consisting of 9 greater marks of attack damage, 9 greater seals of armor, 9 greater glyphs of magic resist, 1 greater quintessence of attack damage, and 2 greater quintessence of attack speed. For summoner spells, I would go with the heal flash combo, because it gives you safety in both the lane and in team fights. If you are really experienced, you can go with cleanse against heavy CC compositions. Then our item build is a little bit different from what we are used to from other AD carries. This is because of how our skill set works, and this has been calculated as one of the best possible item sets for the maximum amount of damage output. Trust me, this works wonders. Just pause the video here if you wish to copy this item build. Then our skill order. You will have to max your E first, then W, and then your Q. You max your Q last because of the item build we are working with, which is mainly based on attack speed early on, without much attack damage. As last but not least, I want to cover when you should pick Kalista and when you should not. This part is only useful for draft game modes, such as normal draft and ranked. Kalista gets countered by champions with long range and a lot of lane harass. If your enemy has an Ashe, Caitlyn or Vayne, I would not play Kalista against it. The lane will become too hard and you will not be able to efficiently win the lane. If the enemy team has an Ezreal, Thresh or Jinx, Kalista is a great pick. She has tons of mobility and can kite most of the skill shots coming her way. Also, against Xerath and Vel'Koz, she works great because you can dodge all the skill shots with her passive. It is best to have an Alistar, Blitzcrank, Braum, Leona or any support with Kalista. They have the best synergy with her ultimate. With that all settled and done, we are off to the next part. In this part of the video, I will talk you through all of her abilities to help you to get a good understanding of how Kalista actually works. If you haven't played the champion yet, I do strongly recommend you to watch this section. Her passive, Martial Poise, allows Kalista to dash in between auto attacks as demonstrated here. This can be quite tricky, but it is very effective once you get the hang of it. You click on your target to auto attack and then you move towards the position you want to move. That will dash you towards that direction. This will get faster once you build up some more attack speed. Additionally, movement speed increases the distance of your dash. This is why Führer boots are so efficient on Kalista. Kalista also starts with an item in her inventory, the Black Spear. Kalista can use this item onto her allies, creating a bond between the two players. This is usually done onto your support when the game starts. Her Q, Pierce, throws a spear towards her direction, dealing physical damage to the first enemy struck. If the enemy dies from the spear will continue onward. Additionally, hitting someone with this skill will apply a rend stack onto your enemy. If you kill the enemy with this skill and you hit another enemy with the same spear, the rend stacks will pass on from the first player to the next one. More about that once we get to her E ability. Her W, Sentinel, has an active and a passive. The passive gives Kalista and her bonded ally the ability to do % health magic damage onto their enemies. If one of the two players hits an enemy, the enemy is tagged. If the other player now hits the same target within 2 seconds, the % health magic damage will be procced, dealing up to 20% magic damage based on the target's maximum health. Her active on W sends out a Soul Sentinel to a target location, gaining vision around the ghost. You can look at it as a patrolling ward. Her E, Rend, is her main damage dealer. On every auto attack or pierce attack onto an enemy, you leave a spear onto that enemy. These spears can stack infinitely. The active on this item rips all the spears from the nearby enemies out of them, dealing physical damage and slowing the enemies. Every spear adds more damage, so make sure you use this skill as an execute skill. Also, if you kill an enemy with this skill, the cooldown resets and you get your mana back. Her ultimate, Fate's Call, allows for great playmaking with your bonded ally. If Kalista uses this ability, her bonded ally gets vanished and moves to Kalista her position, hovering over her. Then, her ally can choose to shoot himself to her location, knocking up all enemies hit, just like a Malphite ultimate really. Great for initiations or when you want to save your ally. Now that you know about her abilities, it is time to get it into practice on the Rift. I will give you some tips and tricks that will help you with the laning phase and the team fighting phase. On lane, Kalista is a relatively weak AD carry. Without items, she feels quite weak, and especially with a bad support, this can cause gigantic problems during the laning phase. Good supports, however, make you feel really strong because of the W passive. My tip to you is play with someone who knows how Kalista works, or explain your support what he has to do in order to win trades. Basically, every 8 seconds, you and your supports can use your W passive to do a nice amount of magic damage. Make sure your support is aware of this, because you most likely win the damage trades. Back off after using the passive, wait for it to come back up and repeat the process. This helps maximizing your damage of the W passive. Also, a nice way to poke your enemies is to use your Q ability. If you want to get the most out of it, you stack your rend stacks onto a minion by auto-attacking it. Once the minion is close to dead, you throw your Q through that minion and also hit your enemy with it. Then you can move in to attack the enemy a little bit more, activate your E and get a nice burst of damage. Once you are level 6, it is important to have good communication with your support. Your ultimate is a very strong tool to engage fights, so when you see a good opportunity to engage with it, let your support know. This can be done either by pinging or by telling him. I prefer to have voice communication with my support to make the best kind of plays with Kalista. Another important thing to know about Kalista is her damage spikes. When does she really become strong? I think there are 2 major power spikes on Kalista. One is when you finish off your Blade of the Ruined King, and one is when you finish off your Runaan's Hurricane. The second power spike makes you able to dominate team fights, so that is the point where you generally want to group up with your team and make plays around the map. Before that point, it is recommended to stay farming if you can. Then off to teamfights. Kalista is probably one of the best teamfight champions in the game because of her insane mobility. Use your dashes to dodge kill shots and to stay away from scary opponents while dealing insane amount of damage with your auto attacks and Runaan's Hurricane. Because Runaan's Hurricanes apply stacks of your rends to all targets hit, your damage will be dealt onto several enemies at once. Try to position yourself around your enemies as if you are drawing a circle around them. This way, it is almost impossible to hit you while you can still deal all of your damage. Use your ultimate to engage with your support or to bringing back to safety. You can engage from far by using your ultimate, which sends your support into the front lines. But like I said before, make sure your support knows what's about to happen. I have had plenty of supports that don't even understand how a Kalista ultimate works, and that can literally lose you games, because you are so dependent on your support. Explain everything beforehand to make it clear to your support. And the last tip I want to give to you is play with the Blitzcrank support. If Blitzcrank hooks someone, you can use your ultimate, which will hook the target all the way to you. I love the combination just for this combo, as it's really strong when pulled off correctly. Alright guys, that's pretty much all you need to know to get started with Kalista. I hope this guide gives you a more common understanding of Kalista as a champion. She can be incredibly strong when played correctly, so go practice on the Rift. Thank you for watching this HD commentary. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, let me know in the comment section below which champion you want to learn next. Good luck on the Rift, and I'll see you guys later.